Hey, good afternoon, everybody. And today is Friday. If you listened to my Facebook Live yesterday, I incorrectly called yesterday Friday. But anyway, happy Friday. And this is actually the first time I'm doing a Facebook Live in the afternoon. If you've been following me, you know I usually do it first thing in the morning, depending on what appointments I have, whether I have a breakfast appointment or walk and talk appointments. But normally I get it out about 7:30. But today turned out to be an unexpected travel day, so this is the time I could get it in. Because it's Friday afternoon, I thought I'd make it more lighthearted, right? And first, not as a reminder, but I quit talking about this because it's not important to you. But I'm part of Renee Rodriguez's mastermind group, and he's given the group what he calls an ethos challenge of a whole bunch of activities we have to complete every day for 90 days. One of those activities is going live on Facebook. And if for those that know me, you know I am a complete virgin when it comes to social media. Before this challenge, I'd never been on Facebook or Instagram. I've certainly still never been on TikTok, on and on. Twitter, I have never been on it. And so, what other people do kind of naturally, I've never done, and it's been awkward. And if you've been watching for the last 21 days, you've seen some of that awkwardness. It's been bumpy. I've appreciated people that check this out. I appreciate all the comments. So many people have texted or emailed me or called me, asked me what the heck I'm doing, and then giving me feedback, giving me encouragement. Your feedback really helps. When I first started this whole experience, my goal was just to check things off. Like, you give me a list, I'm gonna check it off, right? I'm just gonna do what you tell me and check it off. And I was very functionary about it, or per functionary about it. And since then, I'm actually trying to embrace it a little bit, trying to get better content, maybe something you might listen to. As this develops a little bit, I might get a little bit better about, promoting some of my Facebook lives. Like, I'm really excited about doing the New Normal series on on Thursday mornings, 7:30 every Thursday, where I talk about the new normal, which is where are the real estate and mortgage markets heading, the industry going, what we need to do to survive in what I'm calling the new normal. Every week I'll pick a topic, whether it be, loan officer comp or branch profitability or, company viability. It'll hopefully be something interesting, and I'll talk about it for 15 minutes. Now, as this has developed, I'm starting to get a cadence, and so Thursday is a normal series, which I really hope people plug into and listen to. I think you can get a lot out of it. I know I am. Saturday is news and notes, where I go over the most impactful articles, newsletters of the week. I really enjoy doing that. I usually cover about a dozen or 15 articles. That's fun. I go as long as until time runs out, because I can literally do it for like 3 hours. And if you're interested in getting news and notes, if you followed me on LinkedIn, I usually post. I've been a little light this week because I was traveling. I usually post 2, 3, 4 articles a day on LinkedIn. They're relevant to real estate and mortgage industry. I summarize the article, I discuss what the impact is, I recommend action points based on the information in the article, and then I try to offer some encouragement. But sometimes it's insights that you maybe not get. Sometimes it's hopefully simplifying data. I think it's really useful. So check out my LinkedIn. I've been a little bit behind this week, but last week I posted a whole bunch of them, and I'm going to catch up and post a ton over the next few days. So news and notes on Saturday, and then Sunday is book club, and I've really enjoyed the book club. I think we're going into the 3rd week or 4th week of book club. This week I'm going to cover Love is the Killer App by Tim Sanders. It's really one of my favorite books. I'm going to just talk about some really practical things from that book. I'm ready to go on that on Sunday. But today, Friday afternoon, it's 3 o'clock. What I thought I'd talk about? I don't know why I want to talk about this, but I want to talk about what is the best steakhouse in Las Vegas. And the reason why I picked Las Vegas is because most of us have been to Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is so rich in steakhouses. If you were creating a top 10, you would probably have to select from like 200 different steakhouses. There's just so many great steakhouses. And so in getting ready for this live, I quickly checked out a bunch of top 10 lists, Travel Advisor, Vegas.com, Condé Nast, Yelp, and what's crazy is every list was almost completely different. There wasn't even a lot of overlap. There was only, I mean, there was actually probably not a single steakhouse that was every one of those top 10 lists. But just for point of reference, let's go with the top best steakhouses from TripAdvisor. I'll list them. I'll comment if I've been in them, and I'll mention other great ones. And if you listen to this now or later, put it in the comments. But what's your favorite steakhouse? What's been your best steak experience? I love steak, and it's fun when you go to Las Vegas. I was there last week or 2 weeks ago at the Mastermind Summit, and I ate at I think Carver Steakhouse. It was great. They're all really good. So number one on TripAdvisor is Primal Steak. Primal Steak. I haven't eaten at Primal Steak. It's off the strip. I typically don't go as much off the strip. Kind of what they're known for is their tomahawk. All their meats, their tomahawk, their filet, their Delmonico, sides like lobster mac and cheese, their short ribs. It comes in number one, and Primal might have been on every list. It was super popular. Edge Steakhouse at the Westgate. Now Edge it was only on TripAdvisor. It wasn't a top 10 on other lists that I can recall. And I haven't eaten at Edge. Westgate is a little bit far from where I normally stay. Things that were super popular at Westgate were French onion soup, the spicy shrimp, the Wagyu beef tartare, truffle mac and cheese, the filet, cream of cauliflower soup, beef Wellington, and dry aged ribeye. So that's the Edge at Westgate. I haven't been there. Number 3 on TripAdvisor's list was Vic and Anthony Steakhouse. That's at the Golden Nugget. This was on 3 or 4 of the top 10 lists. So this is super popular. It's at the Golden Nugget. I don't cruise so much down to the Golden Nugget. I usually stick to where my conference is. Things that that restaurant, Vic and Anthony, is really popular for are the jumbo lump crab cakes, fillets, the prime ribeye, the prime New York strip, and that was number 3. Number 4. Now this I have, my family back when I was just a young tyke used to go to this. So that's the Steakhouse. And what's crazy, it's at the Circus. And if you've been to the Circus lately, that thing, it needs to be demolished. I mean, it's in bad shape. But it's been there, I want to say, for 40 years. And it's like old school, leather, wood paneling, green shade lights. Very old school. When you walk in there, they have a dry age room where they have a bunch of beef hanging. I think they age their meat for 21 days in that room, and then they cook it over an 800-degree mesquite grill in the middle of the restaurant in a very open, action-packed cooking area. The meats there are outstanding. I would say, the filet is probably what they're known for. You can get a 21-day aged filet that's slow cooked, medium rare, marked on the 800-degree grill, which blackens it on the outside. Similar to the bone-in cowboy, it's kind of the same way. And it's probably the least expensive of the restaurants on this list. Of course, it's at the Circus. Hopefully the Steakhouse will sometime move. The Steakhouse is on most people's list too. Very old school. So probably you haven't tried it before, and you certainly don't want to go to Circus, but it's worth going through, the environment to get the steak. The next, which I don't understand at all, is Capitol Grill. The Capitol Grill is fine. Now, I will tell you, it's in a magnificent spot. It's across the street from the Wynn. It's upstairs in the Fashion Show Mall. And it's really striking outside. But, Capitol Grill's everywhere. To me, Capitol Grill's just so. Some of the popular things at the Capitol Grill in Las Vegas are lobster and crab cake, their filet. I mean, okay, it's okay. Next is Top of Binion Steakhouse. That's another old school steakhouse. That's downtown at Binion's. And I always like if you look at reviews and they go, what's the most popular dishes? If it's a steakhouse, I want to see the 4 or 5 most popular dishes being beef. A lot of times you see it being their side dishes or desserts. I'm like, that's not a good sign. It's like if you're looking at a Yelp review for a breakfast place and all they show is sandwiches. Like, I don't think I'm gonna go there. But Binion's, really popular. Their prime rib, their filet, French onion soup. They have a chicken fried lobster. Looks pretty good to me. And their lobster bisque. It's downtown. Now, I go to Las Vegas for conferences, and I rarely make it downtown. I think if I've been to 8 conferences in Las Vegas in the last 2 years, 3 years, let's say, I might have been downtown one time. But that whole Fremont experience, it's packed, and it's packed with a different type of humanity than I normally hang out with. but it's packed. Interesting place. It's almost like a go visit it kind of thing just to see all the circus of it all. But Binion's is really good. Now, I'm gonna give you my favorite right now. I'm gonna give you my favorite, and I've been to at least 50 steakhouses, current steakhouses on the strip and off strip. But probably the best is the Golden Steer Steakhouse, and you probably have never heard it. It's in a little crummy strip mall on Sahara. You know, and it's crazy. You step in there and you're literally stepping into 1950. It's so old school. They probably have two employees to every diner. I mean, everybody's walking around in tuxedos, and it's really used to be a popular place. The Rat Pack, like you have Elvis Presley's booth. You got Debbie Reynolds' booth. Like every booth is, and even contemporary. Like I think Guy Fieri might have a booth. I know he goes there. And this is what's crazy. I mean, you got to take a cab to a crappy strip mall, in the middle of nowhere. Not in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's on the strip, but it's out. It's out across a little further past the Sahara. Like it's out there a little ways. But that place is booked 5 months in advance. So if you call to make a reservation, you better call 5 months before you go. I mean, that is just super crazy. Now, if you go there, I've eaten there a few times, and I never have the discipline to make a reservation 5 months in advance. If you go there, put your name on the list. If it's 2, 3, 4 people, it will take you about 2 hours if you hang out. They'll get you to the table, usually after 8, and you won't be able to sit in the main dining room. You have to sit in the bar. But the food is reasonably priced, and reasonably priced at these steakhouses is like ribeye steak cost $100, $125. That's reasonably priced. But what stuff they're really famous for is their tableside Caesar salad. You have to get it for at least two. It's $21 a person for a little small Caesar salad, but it's probably worth it. Their shrimp cocktail is giant. They have a 24-ounce bone-in ribeye. They also have their surf and turf. I want to say they have like 2 or 3 pound lobsters, and they serve with a fillet. I think the fillet comes with béarnaise sauce. Really good, really good. If you haven't been there and if you like, trying new stuff, give it a try. But that's Steakhouse, which I haven't eaten at. I'm not even sure where it's at, quite frankly. But Yelp said their popular items are truffle mac and cheese, crab cake, fillet, dry aged bone in ribeye, and thick cut bacon were their most popular dishes. Now, I have been to Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse, and it's off the strip. Now you're starting to move up on the dollars. When you go to Del Frisco's, it's gonna be a little ching ching to go there. And there, at Del Frisco's, all their meats are good, but people's comment about the crab cake, the lobster mac and cheese, their lemon cake, which is surprisingly light, good, their bone-in ribeye, potatoes au gratin, and then their butter cake. But all their meats are good, and their service is excellent. I've been there and I've enjoyed like a 7-course meal. It took forever and it's super expensive. So thank you, whoever took me. Another really popular place is the SW Steakhouse. It's almost on all the lists, and that's at the Wynn. Now, once again, a little pricey. My recollection is that the servings weren't gigantic, but same thing: ribeye, filet mignon, chili rub ribeye, chili rub double pork chops, crab cake. Pretty classic, classic, elegant steakhouse as you'd expect at the Wynn. Now, that's a top 10 on TripAdvisor, but that skipped at least 30 great steakhouses, and you could argue they're all really, really good. Like Delmonico's, which is at the Venetian, I think. Cut by Wolfgang Puck, that's at the Palazzo. The thing about Cut by Wolfgang Puck, I also think that the portions are a little small there, but that's probably the most expensive of all these restaurants. Like the dry aged tomahawk runs about $425 or $450. The ribeye runs about $175. Like that starts to get a little bit more expensive. Now, some of these restaurants, somebody was telling me the other day that the new steakhouse at the Fontainebleau, the most popular steak is $1,500, and that every table orders it. Crazy, if you ask me. $1,500. Now it's Wagyu something or other, but man, $1,500. Strip steak, super popular, wasn't on the list, it's on the list. Craft Steak, which is in the Resort World, that is a nice restaurant, excellent service, great sides, good food. And by the way, I could have done what is the best steakhouse, and I could just said which steakhouse has the best bread, because that could be, a competition itself. STK at the Cosmopolitan, I believe that's the chain. They're all over the place. People like the filet, the glazed Chilean sea bass. And interesting, I'll riff on this other time. Sea bass isn't sea bass at all. It's like I want to say a fish caught off of not even Argentina. It's some commonplace. Like it's raised in off the U.S. coast in farms, and it's not a sea bass at all. It's like a flounder that they just renamed to make it sexier so they could sell it. I'll have to look it up. I forget what that is. But STK, the filet, the lobster, the sea bass, short rib, bone-in filet. And then, of course, and this is on the top of quite a few people's lists. I'm surprised it was on TripAdvisor's. Another super expensive restaurant is Peter Luger's Steakhouse, and that's at Caesar's Palace. And that's going to be a little bit of ching-ching, too. And of course, everything there is good, but people talk about the New York strip, crab cake, seafood tower, Caesar salad, another tableside Caesar salad, ribeye steak, great. Now, one of the ones that was on top on most people's list, wasn't on TripAdvisor for some reason, is Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Now, they're really known for their fish, quite frankly, but their steaks are perfectly fine. But the top rated things at Joe's Seafood is king crab, stone crab, colossal lump cake, then filet is next, and of course the grilled seafood platter. And I'm uncertain about, I love seafood platter. I typically don't eat shellfish, but if it's a special occasion, I'll do it just to give myself an upset stomach. But I'm more for the chilled seafood tower. I don't know if I like the grilled. Like, it confuses me. I'm used to having it chilled, not hot. And then it comes hot and sometimes spicy, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But they have a grilled seafood platter at Joe's. Urban Rye is a new one, I believe, at Westside. The thing I like about that, the reviewers highlight the meat, which is what you want to see in a steakhouse, the ribeye, the filet, the New York strip. They also comment about the spicy mussels and the bone-in pork chops, so that's a good sign. And then Smith & Lewinsky's, it's at the Venetian. That's another one I've eaten at. I can tell you, when Belinda and I ate there, we got the swinging tomahawk. It's this giant tomahawk steak that comes on a hook, like a hangman's hook that's swinging. And it was dry aged for like 54 days, so it had a little bit of a rind on it. Interesting, but really good experience. And what's true with a lot of these steakhouses, they're giant. They're like 10,000, 15,000 square feet with a gazillion people. But Smith & Lewinsky is really good. The swinging tomahawk, crab cake, angry shrimp, filet Oscar, and the Chilean sea bass are all super popular there. And then, as you'd expect, the Gordon Ramsay's Steakhouse, which is in the Paris Hotel, it gets better rated than the one at Caesar's on the corner, which is Hell's Kitchen. But and it's in that area, the Paris is not, I want to say dumpy, but it's not super nice. The entrance to Gordon Ramsay's is nice. And there, of course, it's all and he's a little expensive. Bone-in ribeye, Caesar salad, onion soup, beef short rib, the 18-ounce bone-in New York, excellent, all good. A couple others, and I'll get over with it, and I'll let you guys go to the store, get some meat, get ready to barbecue. That's what I'm going to do. I'm talking myself into it, like straight out. I'm going to go to the store, get something for the barbecue. We're going to barbecue here in about 3 hours. Echo and Rig, which is at another restaurant at the West Side. You gotta like that because they really highlight the meat. The Spencer steak, lump crab cakes, fried spinach. Like, that's, if you're gonna have vegetables, fry them. I'm totally down with that. The steaks come with chips and a stuffed mushroom, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, Ocean Prime. There's a bunch of them. Now, this Ocean Prime is in front of the Aria. And for my money, they probably have the best seafood tower. Of course, crab cakes, filet, lobster mac and cheese, and then you can't go to Ocean Prime or any of the Mastros without having the warm butter cake. So, thanks for listening. Sorry about the afternoon get going, but I wanted to make sure I got my Facebook Live in today, and I wanted to just thank everybody that's been, checking it out, giving me comments. I want to give you kind of how it's developing, give you some updates, And then I thought I'd just do this Friday talking about steakhouses. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll be on tomorrow right at around 7:30. I'll go over the most interesting news that I came across for the week. And then Sunday, if you want to hear about Tim Sanders and Love is a Killer app, check it out around 7:30. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.